AVC. This is Michael. It's been a while, but I decided to jump back in and do the Soul Vinyl Tag 2021, started by Lavelle Andrew. Check out his channel. Has a lot of great content. He's very active in the Blue Note projects, the 4000 and 1500. So check out his channel. Now, the first question, it's a series of 15 questions. Number one, the first soul album you ever bought. First soul album I ever bought, it'd be Luther Vandross's Never Too Much. Before this, I would just usually play music from my mother's collection. She had an extensive soul collection, and Never Too Much was Vandross's debut recording. The title song was got a lot of radio play. He had the last song on the side 2 has a really excellent version of Burt Bacharach and Hal David's "The House Is Not a Home." So the first soul album I bought, Luther Vandross's Never Too Much. This is a 35th anniversary reissue. The second question, show a Motown album, and I'm gonna go with an album that I call an under-acknowledged classic, and that is Leon Ware's Musical Massage. And Leon Ware is not a name that you're familiar with. You're probably familiar with his work. If you've ever listened to this recording by Marvin Gaye, then you're familiar with Leon Ware and Marvin Gaye's "I Want You." It's produced by Leon Ware, and most of the songs are written by Leon Ware. "I Want You" was also, "I Want You" was written by Leon Ware and T-Boy Ross, who was Diana Ross's brother. And the other song that got a lot of radio play, "After the Dance," that was written, both by Marvin Gaye and Leon Ware. How this album came about, it's I guess an old school record industry story. Leon Ware signed to Motown working on his first project. He's in the studio with T-Boy Ross. Berry Gordy comes in to check in, and he hears what they're working on. Say, Marvin might be interested in some of this. Subsequently, Marvin Gaye comes by the studio, checks it out. It turns out he was interested in it. And basically, according to Leon Ware, what should have been his first album for Motown became Marvin Gaye's "I Want You." So, fast forward, Leon Ware is working on what now is going to be his first recording for Motown. He assembled quite a cast on this. This song "Instant Love," which has Minnie Riperton on vocals. Both Marvin Gaye and Bobby Womack are on the background vocals for the song "Holiday," and Mary Clayton also performs background vocals on this. Such great songs: "Instant Love," "Turn Out the Light," "Share Your Love," "Body Heat," which became a hit for Quincy Jones. Leon Ware is in that line of what I term as sensual soul singers, from Marvin Gaye through up to D'Angelo. Leon Ware fits within that group. So that is my Motown album, Leon Ware's Musical Massage. Show a recent soul album you bought. I'm gonna go with, I'm gonna show two guys that have recordings that should be coming out within the next month or so. I'm gonna show some of their previous work. Curtis Harding. This is his second recording, Face Your Fear. My two favorite songs on here are Wednesday Morning Atonement and Go As You Are. Curtis, he has sort of an edge to his vocals, and just his sound, the music he uses has a rock edge to it, but it's definitely soul. His first recording, appropriately titled Soul Power. Curtis Harding. The other performer I would like to show you is Leon Bridges. This is his second recording, Good Thing. To me, Leon Bridges, sort of that mixture of Sam Cooke, Marvin Gaye. On this recording, he really, come into his own in terms of the songwriting and the music. The first composition, Bet It Ain't Worth It, on through the last with Georgia, Texas. Just an excellent album through and through. Leon Ware, Good Thing. Show a 45 or 12 inch. Actually, I have no 45s. There's I guess it's sort of an interesting story. When my mother passed, and of course I had her collection of albums in 45s. She passed in the 90s, so this is the CD era. Someone asked me, could they have her 45s? So of course, I gave them to that person. And I, of course, it's something I regret to this day. And I remember, the 45s that were in there. They were all the James Brown on King Records, 45s, Funky Drummer, you name it. That was included in her collection. Sly and the Family Stone, If You Want Me to Stay. There was this boy-girl duet group called Chi Chi and Pepe, who had a song called I Know I'm in Love. The song's on YouTube, but just it's a huge collection, and I gave it away, so that's why I have no 45s. Show a live soul album. Sure, showed this, and I'm just seconding his choice. Bill Withers live at Carnegie Hall. Bill Withers, just one of my favorite musicians, songwriters, just outstanding. I believe in December, Vinyl Me Please is going to reissue one of his recordings that he did for Sussex, so it's going to be one of his, I believe, one of the first two albums. And I believe Sony has the rights to that, so eventually looks like Sony's going to be reissuing some of Bill Withers' classic material. Another live soul album I wanted to share, Maze featuring Frankie Beverly, live in New Orleans. This is a classic. This is the 40th anniversary reissue that came out a couple of months ago. Maze has their hit Joy and Pain, Look at California, such a beautiful song. When I was growing up, it just gave me visions of what California was like. So that's Maze featuring Frankie Beverly and Maze live in New Orleans, and this is the reissue, the 40th anniversary reissue, and this is my original copy. So, you know, yeah, I'm glad they came out with that reissue. And the next question is, who's your all-time favorite male singer? Bobby Womack. These are both recently reissued, the Poet 1 and the Poet 2. Poet 2 is featuring Patti LaBelle, and on the Poet 1, which was on the Poet, which was his actually largest selling recording of his illustrious career. Big hit on there was If You Think You're Lonely Now. It's a magnificent song, you know, written by Bobby Womack himself. And I think he had a co-writer on that also, but just one of my favorite recordings. Bobby Womack, he was the master of the spoken introduction, spoken interlude, and it worked so well for him in part because of his voice. You know, he didn't have a deep voice. It wasn't a smooth voice. It had just a little bit of harshness to it, and to me that made him more believable, more sincere when he went into those spoken interludes and introductions. He was a great cover of other people's work too. You know, James Taylor, I think the Mamas and the Papas. There's a great CD compilation out there if you can get your hands on it. It's outstanding. It starts off with Across 110th Street, which is a song that Bobby Womack wrote. The music was done by J.J. Johnson when he was in Hollywood doing film scoring. Bobby Womack, my favorite male singer. My favorite female singer, I'm gonna go with the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin. Yeah, here are just a few of my Aretha albums. I Never Loved a Man the Way That I Love You, Aretha Now, and here are two of her gospel recordings. These actually belong to my mother. And here's the classic on Amazing Grace. And you know, you can really tell that this was played quite a lot in the household. Aretha Franklin was that, you know, to me, she was a perfect example of, you know, that gospel influence and soul music. So Aretha Franklin, my favorite female singer. Show a funk record. All right, my funk record is going to be Money Talks by the Bar-Kays. If you're not familiar with the Bar-Kays, tragic story. Most of the members of that band, except for two, perished in the plane crash that Otis Redding was on, that took his life. So the Bar-Kays had to basically regroup after that tragic incident, and regroup they did, and they had a long career charting on the soul and R&B charts numerous times. the hit on here is Holy Ghost, and just outstanding funk song. So just really excellent recording. There's the Bar-Kays on the back cover. So my funk album is the Bar-Kays Money Talks. And show a black exploitation soundtrack. I'm gonna go one that I just recently picked up. Wasn't familiar with it at all. It is by Isaac Hayes. It's called Tough Guys. And Isaac Hayes not only, wrote, produced, and performed, and composed, orchestrated the soundtrack, he actually starred in the movie. Haven't seen the movie. I don't think it was that good. It starred Isaac Hayes, Fred Williamson, and a gentleman I've never heard of, Lino Ventura. But yeah, Isaac Hayes, Tough Guys. That's my black exploitation soundtrack. Show your favorite soul album. My favorite soul album at this moment would be, going back to the Queen of Soul, Young, Gifted, and Black. Right now I'm reading a couple of biographies on the playwright Lorraine Hansberry, who had wrote the play Young, Gifted, and Black, and that's where this title comes from. It comes from a song by Nina Simone, who was good friends with Lorraine Hansberry. But this album, it's side one, side two, it's just excellent. Oh Me, Oh My, Daydreaming, Rock Steady, Young, Gifted, and Black, All the King Horses, Brand New Me, and that's just side one. You have April Fools. They do a version of Lennon McCartney's Along a Winding Road. And one of my favorites on here is a song that, there's no way this could have been a hit, but it's a favorite of mine nonetheless. First Snow in Kokomo. And I can just see Aretha in the studio sitting at the piano just composing this song. It is one of my favorite songs on this album. So my favorite soul album at this point in time is Aretha Franklin's Young, Gifted, and Black. So a classic soul album from the 60s. Yeah, when talking about the Bar-Kays, I mentioned Otis Redding. I'm gonna go with the immortal Otis Redding. This is the album that contains the song Too Hard to Handle, which of course was remade by the Black Crowes. I guess you could say it brought a younger generation to the music of Otis Redding, or at least that's what we hope. But the immortal Otis Redding is my choice for the 60s. Classic soul album from the 70s. I'm gonna go with the Isley Brothers. The Heat Is On. This is the album that contains Fight the Power and Living for the Love of You, For the Love of You. And Fight the Power was the first record that I owned that contained profanity. I had an edited version 45, where they bleep bullshit out. Well, they bleeped shit out, but it's an excellent album. Isley Brothers, they had one of the most successful runs in American music, at least 40 plus years. being on the charts. And here's this gatefold. That's 1970s. And a classic soul album from the 80s. I'm gonna go with one of my favorite performers from the 80s, one of my favorite all-time performers, Teena Marie, Lady T. It Must Be Magic. This is on Motown. It contained her big hit, Square Biz, and just a great recording. She was one of my favorite performers, as I said. When she first signed to Motown, I believe of her first album, they did not use her picture on the cover. Supposedly, Berry Gordy was afraid that black people would reject her because she was white, which is, turned out to be somewhat absurd. She's just a favorite of, African American audiences to this day. And she had a patron saint at Motown, Rick James, and they remained friends, worked together. This is, Teena Marie, It Must Be Magic, classic soul album from the 80s. Show your all-time soul duet album. I don't have an all-time soul duet album, but I do have an all-time soul duet song. I'm gonna go back to Teena Marie and Rick James, and it's on this Rick James album, Street Songs. This is the one with Super Freak and Give It To Me Baby. But there's a duet with Rick James and Teena Marie, Fire and Desire. And it's a great song, to former lovers reuniting and just reminiscing on the past and how, each has changed. Just an excellent song. This is from a reissue. This is a reissue of the classic Street Songs album that I picked up a couple of years ago, because this original was played so much that it was just so much noise until I got an ultrasonic cleaner, cleaned it up a bit. But this is my original. I still keep it. And last question: show your favorite soul song. At this moment in time, my favorite soul song would come from the Earth, Wind & Fire album. That's the Way of the World, and that would be my choice for favorite soul song. You could also pick the reasons from this album. This is my favorite Earth, Wind & Fire recording. So that's The Way of the World, my favorite soul song at this time. So that's it for the 15 questions soul vinyl tag. Once again, check out Lavelle Andrews' channel. Lots of great content. Peace, VC.